Today I'm going to show you how to make a henna paste for henna tattoos and hair dye. Henna has been used for thousands of years for beauty and therapeutic purposes. You can find most of the ingredients at your local supermarket or in your own kitchen, such as ingredients as the cloves, ground coffee, lemons, and water. Also, the henna powder and tea tree oil. Okay, first of all, the henna powder, which can be found in Oriental, organic, or Middle Eastern markets. You can also get this online if you order it. I got my powder from a local Middle Eastern store. We have then the ground coffee. The coffee is to give it a darker color by soaking it in hot water. The hot water will be able to enrich the color. You can use water for this step, but coffee is more preferred. Then we have the cloves that we have the chemicals that we need to help the stain stay on longer, and it's also soaked in hot water. We then have the lemons, and the lemons have the acidity necessary for it to break down the cellulose in the henna leaves to bring out that more rich henna color dye out of the leaves. Then we have the tea tree oil, used for enriching the color as well. The tea tree oil can be found at any local pharmacy. Alone is good for many skin conditions, especially when used for the hair. The hair, if you're going to make the henna powder or henna paste for using it for your hair, it's really necessary that you add the tea tree oil. And we're going to go ahead and start by adding 3 tablespoons of the henna. And you can kind of do it on your own if you're going to make for a small tattoo or large tattoo, or if you're going to use it for your hair. It's just you want to be sure that you get the right consistency for this. So we're just going to add 3 tablespoons for like a small henna tattoo. Okay, now that we have that, when you get the henna, it always comes in a powder form, so there's nothing else you need to do for it once you get it out of the bag. Alright, the next step we're going to add is the cloves that have been sitting in the hot water. And you kind of want to add this slowly to make sure that you don't get your henna to be really runny, because then it'll make it harder for you to create your tattoo. Okay, so while you're adding that, you want to be sure that you add your liquids equally. That way you get the right consistency, and you don't want too much of the clove water or the coffee water and have it kind of get ruined in your hand. So if you go ahead and see, we have added the clove water to be that much. So when we add the coffee water, we'll need to add a little bit more, because as you can see, it's kind of gotten really thick. And we'll just keep adding a little bit of the coffee water and regular water just to help it with the consistency. Okay. You want it good, you don't want any clumps in it. You kind of want it to be really, really good. This is kind of hard, so we're just going to add a little bit more. You can see some of the color already starting to come out. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about the history while I'm mixing this up. The henna started in India, and it kind of spread out throughout most of the Middle East. And before, it used to be used for therapeutic purposes, for hair treatments, for skin treatments, and a lot of people would use it for the bottom of their feet for calluses. And it stains the skin for weeks, I think, depending on how strong you make the color. And people would see how beautiful the color stays on the skin, and once they've soaked their feet or their hair or their skin, in this beautiful color, they didn't want just like a blotchy orange color on your skin, and so they started doing designs and, you know, just making it really beautiful so it's not just, you know, this really orange blotchy color. And I'll show you some of the Indian tattoos that they have at the end of this video, and some are really beautiful. And, you know, once they realized that how beautiful these designs would get, they started doing it at the, before a woman would get married, they would do a henna party. It's kind of like the bachelorette party here that they do in America, but it's called a henna party, and that's when they apply the henna to the would-be bride. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the henna powder, and we're going to add some of the lemon juice to it, because it's starting to get a little bit runny. Okay, don't want that much. Okay, and I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of the lemon on here. And like I said, the lemon helps with the acidity to break down the cellulose in here. And you'll start to see a little bit more of the color come out as we keep mixing this. Alright, going back to the history, nowadays it's used for mostly beauty purposes, you know, the tattoos and for the color in the hair. I guess it's still used for therapeutic purposes, but it's mostly worldwide known for its tattoos. We're going to add a little bit more of the water. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the water right here instead of the coffee, just to help with the consistency here. Alright, and it takes some time to get it really good and really consistent, and that's why it's kind of taking a little bit of the mixing here. Alright. Okay. Now that we've finished adding all of our ingredients, you want to make sure that you get it really good, and you can tell that you've got it really good if you move your spoon right through it and you see that it's really smooth, you don't have any clumps or anything, and the color on it is kind of this green color. Some of them tend to be a little bit darker, some of them tend to be a little bit lighter, but we've added enough of the ingredients, the cloves and the coffee, that helps it with the color. So you want it to be this color. And if you want to check and see if you've got the right consistency for it, if you pick it up on a spoon like this and you turn it around, it shouldn't fall off the spoon. And that way you'll be able to tell that it's not too runny, not too thick, not too thin, and you should be good. So we'll gather all of this up. You can put this in a Ziploc bag, and it has to sit overnight for at least 8 to 10 hours. So we're going to come back in the morning and it should be ready. Before you transfer it into your final henna container, before you do your tattoo, you want to add a couple drops of the tea tree oil to give it that final rich color. You can then be ready to go ahead and start. I will show you a couple pictures of some really good henna tattoos from around the world. Okay, so this is how you make the henna paste. Your final product is done. Stay tuned for some pictures. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy.